Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to the shop. Got another new acquisition here. Behind me I have an RC-150 Hyster forklift. This will be another vintage antique piece of iron for around here. Probably could have used a forklift around here for a while, and this showed up really close by and the price was right on it to where I've got hardly anything in it, which is probably a good thing because it's probably not worth hardly anything, but it'll be able to help me get a lot of stuff moved around here. This is a 15,000 pound rough country forklift. It's kind of what attracted me to it, was the fact it uses 20-inch truck tires on it, so tires and wheels are pretty readily available. I think it's more or less built out of semi-truck parts, but got a nice heavy casting on the back, and the boom and everything all seems to be in decent shape on it. It does actually have side shift, which is a plus. A lot of these old forklifts didn't have it, but this one does. It's got a Hercules 6-cylinder gasoline engine in it. I'm not too keen about that. I really don't like gas engines. It doesn't run the greatest. I'm pretty sure that the valves have never been adjusted on it in the last 50 years. So I'm going to try to adjust the valves on it and see if I can't get it running better. It's popping out the intake, so I know that it's either got valves burned out of it or they're just clear out of adjustment. More than likely they've never been adjusted, because looking at this thing, it looks like to me it's about as easy to pull the engine as it is to adjust the valves. The only other way to do it is to take the intake manifold and exhaust manifold off of it in order to get to the valve covers. So I think that's probably what I'll do, and then if that doesn't work, then maybe it's coming swap time. I could probably round up enough pieces around here to put a 6BT together for it, and it'd be a pretty strong lift then. Be a little more weight back here too to help balance it out. But it works as is. It'll pick up and move pretty much anything I want to do with it. I figure this would be handy too for when I need to move everything down from the other shop. Getting that stuff picked up and moved down here. This ought to be make it a lot easier. I can just get the stuff drug over the door, fork it up, and drive it down here, bring it into the building, then sit it down. So this machine's got good clearance. It's about 10 inches to the bottom of the mast, so I can drive up on this concrete curb coming into the building that exists right now. Someday that'll be gone once I get all the concrete poured outside, but that's still a ways off. It's money not really allotted for it at this moment in time, so that'll have to wait until the shop earns enough money to pay for it, and then we'll get on to that. I figured I should have this for unloading that big Monarch lathe, because at 37,000 pounds, it's a little over what the crane's rated for. I think the crane would handle it, because the crane's been cut down from what it was when it was rated 15 ton. And I did all the steel at 50,000 capacity. So, should be plenty of capacity. But rather than risk it, I can team up and use this forklift plus the crane and make life easier. And it's here now, so that'll be coming up as soon as I can get everything cleared off and make a space where I want to put it and leave it for a while. I figure it's probably going to be much like the G&L and leak oil all over the floor, so I probably need to put epoxy down before I bring it in here. So I need to get to that, but let me pull this thing out and I'll show you around. Well, so there it is in all of its antique glory. Definitely a 1950s kind of vintage machine, I think, especially with the cast weight on the back. I'm not super keen on the tall mast. Fortunately, my building's tall, so it works okay in here. I don't have any issues with it as far as being too tall, but I think I would prefer it to be about at the canopy level there. Right now the forks go to 17 foot, I don't have a lot of need to put stuff at 17 foot. If they went to 14 foot, would probably be just fine with me. But it's a decent shape, looks like. The pins that the forks hang on are not all bent up like they normally are. The mast itself's not all bent up and trashed up too bad. The cylinder's not leaking. Chains are in okay shape. I don't think this machine's been outside a whole lot. Sheet metal's all fairly straight. I do like this casting counterweight. Solid fenders. Makes it smooth looking. I guess you could put this, take this piece out, and I don't know, I guess you can bolt on a thicker weight for more capacity. Well, 15's decent capacity as is. It's the side shift hoses. I had to do something about the setup on them. I wasn't real keen on them running outside the boom the way they had it. They were rubbing and getting pinched. So they pretty much built out truck parts, so I think finding pieces to fix it up with shouldn't be too bad. Here's a clutch machine. There's the little Hercules JX series engine. I believe this to be a JXD, 320 cubic inch. Best I can tell. The underneath there somewhere, you can see the water pump distributors mounted over here. They're blocking the access to the tappets, and the starter motor also blocks access to the tappets. This machine's in need of a total rewire. You can tell it's been an industrial type setting with people that didn't know what they were doing. And it's all just kind of cobbled hodgepodge together on the wiring. None of it's been fixed properly. Just get it going. Nice vintage old copper radiator still hanging in there. I find it interesting that they put the leveling cylinders back here. It's a interesting place to mount them. I mean, I guess it's adding weight where you need it instead of out in the front where you don't need it. Kind of pulls on the safety cage there, but it's way up high on the lift, so there's a lot more leverage than what there is on a normal forklift. There's not near the pressure on these pins as there would be on a little lift where they're normally down in here. Some point in time, they tell me 3 years ago, they couldn't get the hydraulic cylinder off here because I guess they weren't smart enough to figure out that it would go out the front. So they torched the bracket to get the cylinder out, and I'm not super keen about that, but they said they've been using it like that for 3 years to load 40-foot containers, shipping containers, and it's been working for them. So may put that back, maybe bolt a piece in there in case someday I need to get the hydraulic cylinder out to work on it, but for now it's working. So it does have side shift, and that works. There's a cylinder. Wish I had some longer forks for these 4-footers. Not the greatest, although it does make the machine fairly short. Our John Deere off-road forklift to work, which is only a 6,000 pound capacity, is just as long as this machine. This machine's right at 12 foot total, so it's fairly stocky. But I do like those big tires. It makes it roll around out here nice. And the gravel would be good for in the future. Semi trucks come in here with steel or equipment or whatever, and I can grab it with the forklift and take it inside the building don't have to worry about whether or not I got some place to back in under the crane, or if we got a big semi, whether or not I got enough room to back him all the way in there. We want to back in between all the machine tools, because it will be getting filled up with them before too long. If I can get in here and move that stove wherever I want it. So I do want to push it back. I want to get that wall done first. We had 70-mile-an-hour winds here the other day, and they blew some more of that insulation out. So I'm gonna have to get that put back in pretty soon, or it's all gonna be laying on the floor. There's where I unloaded the trailer. Stacked all the lumber up. A lot of people have talked about finishing out the walls with something else, but that's what I've already got, so that's what the walls are going to get finished with. There comes Bailey to do an inspection. Alright, so you probably want to see this thing in action, so we fire it up and raise it up, and we'll tilt it a couple of directions here and see what the range of motion is on it. Like I said, it is a rough country forklift, so it's got a decent amount of tilt forwards and back, which was one of the things I was looking for where I'm operating out here, and I do it in a lot of different type of situations. It's always good to have flexibility. So let's see if it'll start. So I'm able to get those valves adjusted and get this thing running like it should. It should be a lot better. But like I said, as far as right now, it does work as it is. And you know, it's probably 10 cents a pound. It's better than buying a hamburger. Well, hopefully this new old piece of equipment will serve me well, and I'll be able to get lots of use out of it here doing various tasks, moving stuff around. It's got enough capacity I can pick up the Monarch with it or whatever and move it. So like I said, that'll be handy for using where the bridge crane can't be used. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, I'll catch y'all later.